What's going on, fellow A-plussers? It is I, your host, as always, Adam Perez, back once again with a brand new review as we're set to get into some Gotham Knights today, baby. That's right, episode 3 of this brand new DC television series. And I gotta admit, probably one of my better episodes of this season so far. I've actually enjoyed all three of them. Second episode, probably a little bit more dull than the first, and this one in general, but I actually walked away really enjoying this episode. I was actually pretty glued to the TV, especially towards the end, if you will, for this particular episode of Gotham Knights. I was got a little frustrated with my young one here. He was getting a little too loud, crying and whining before his bedtime. Just before I went ahead and tried to kind of put him down, but luckily, the girlfriend was certainly there to certainly assist me. I was just like, I'm so focused right now. Like I got to see how this particular episode certainly ends. But yeah, another solid entry for Gotham Knights, if you ask me. So I'm actually enjoying the season so far and finding myself wanting to come back each week to kind of see how this story progresses. So I'm kind of curious to know what you guys think. Look, 3 episodes in of Gotham Knights. Where are you standing with it so far? Definitely go ahead and let me know your thoughts in the comment section box below. I think a few of us here probably came into this season with low expectations. So maybe that has helped us enjoy this series a little bit more. Who certainly knows? But even to those who might have had high expectations, is this show certainly meeting those expectations so far? I am kind of curious to know your guys' opinions on that in the live chat or the comment section box. But guys, let's get into our review, shall we? Let's see here. I got a couple notes. First off, I did appreciate the idea of Robin kicking off this episode, having doing some vigilante stuff, if you will. I think one of the cons that I have about this season so far is I'm just a superhero guy. I really appreciate costumes, you know what I mean? And so while I definitely would love to see my costume vigilantes in here, not every show is certainly going to do that. Naomi didn't do that. I didn't stick around. Did I stick around for the entirety of Naomi? I think I might have, or maybe I missed the last couple episodes, but I can understand if people eventually fell off. It was missing the supers for me, if you ask me personally. And while I am enjoying Gotham Knights, there is a part of me that's kind of hoping maybe there's more supers towards the end of this particular season. But I think what's holding me over so far is like the Court of Owls, right? Like they may not be superheroes, but they are sort of costumed characters. And when you're doing a comic book story or a comic book adaptation, I need some costumes in it. You know what I mean? So I appreciate Talon and the Court of Owls so far in that regards. And I am appreciating the Robin character in here in Carrie Kelly, if you will. And she's kind of got a little bit of a costume herself. She's got the goggles that bring that green color out for Robin, and her top, her vest, if I'm not mistaken, or her jacket is like a maroon red. So right, I mean, we're definitely getting Robin colors there. So I guess I should be thankful in some capacity. But Carrie Kelly continues to win me over in here. Her Dula, and I got to admit, Turner is honestly kind of growing on me. Along with Stephanie Brown. We had some interesting duos, I thought, kind of really working together in here. Um, Carrie, along with Turner, had a couple of great scenes. Harper Row, along with Stephanie Brown, which I found really fascinating just to kind of see how those two wind up clashing in here. And then we also got Carrie and Dula at the gala who were actually taking people out, trying to stop the Mutant Gang, if you will, saving some lives, stealing some jewelry. So that was an interesting combination also to kind of see in action here this week. And a little bit of Turner and Harvey Dent, which I'm getting sort of like that Bruce Wayne, Commissioner Gordon vibes almost a little bit, like the only person I can trust in the GCPD type of mentality, right? He's on the run, kind of like a vigilante. If he needs to pass along information, he's got Harvey Dent he can certainly go to, sort of thing. So I am definitely getting sort of those parallels, and now seeing him also working alongside somebody like Carrie, or at least trying to convince Carrie to help him be sort of his sidekick, I do find pretty interesting, right? Like they both knew Bruce rather intimately. And I love the story that she winds up giving Turner towards the end of this episode about the idea that it's not like Bruce just brought me in, right? Like I almost had to harass this man on every opportunity that I got, which goes to show that she clearly went out looking for him and trying to help him, even though I'm sure he probably didn't want her putting herself in that situation. But annoying him clearly enough times, and him clearly seeing her passion for wanting to help others, you know, eventually sort of caved and gave in. And that's kind of where Turner finds himself right now, right? Like it is always fascinating to me. And I wrote down in my notes the idea of like how much does it really get to Turner that his father never fully accepted him, or I don't want to say accepted him, but allowed him to see and learn from that particular side of who he is, right? Maybe there's certainly some protectiveness, but clearly we see that Bruce was teaching Turner some things he certainly listened to and picked up on. That's definitely helped him, certainly in his life. The kid is extremely bright, and he can clearly pick out a crime scene or at least do some detective work himself. So you want to talk about Bruce leaving him with some sort of knowledge in how to do this business? He did at least gave him the beginnings of it as he manages to find Carrie in this episode also to kind of help save her life and his sister wherever he can. And I guess that's what I appreciate about Turner is that he definitely is not a slouch. This kid was certainly brought up in a certain type of way by Bruce. May not have Bruce's skills, but has sort of like the beginnings of that knowledge. So I do hope that they, at least when it comes to Turner, that they at least show his weaknesses. You know what I mean? The fact that he went up against Talon last week, kind of, or an episode one, I can't remember what episode that was, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But considering he did get bailed out by the rest of his friends, I'll let that pass for right now. But Turner definitely has his skills. So I kind of really appreciate the two of them together in here, seeing Turner's journey to eventually maybe become her sidekick, or at least have her teach him what his dad knew and maybe helped him eventually become something also. Um, so I thought that was really fascinating, and seeing them both bounce off of each other like that, and having just different relationships, sort of with her father, with his father. But I love the opening here of getting her an opportunity to see her use some batarangs, use the grappling hook in a rather unique way to go ahead and transfer electricity. So really thoughtful stuff. I love that she's extremely bright, but clearly certainly has like her secrets and things that she's certainly keeping from Turner at the end of the day, considering that I think he's got a couple pages from his diary. So there's definitely something that she's certainly hiding, whether it's information about herself, information about her dad, information about him, which again, I think we're kind of speculating around here that Turner may be a descendant of the Court of Owls. And I'm under the impression that Bruce took him in order to kind of train him. Well, not train him, but maybe kind of protect him and keep that life away from Turner, if you will. So that's the revelation that I'm thinking we're probably going to get, that maybe he was eventually going to be trained to be a Talon. I'm kind of curious if he was like a Talon son or something like that. I have no idea whose kid Turner originally was, but I do think that's going to be the really big mystery that hopefully we get a revelation towards at the end of this season. So yeah, Carrie Kelly definitely growing on me. I think she's an incredible actress so far, and really enjoying the bond that she's certainly growing there with Turner, and just want to see her in action more. Like if they want to continue to open up the episode with more Robin kicking ass, I'll completely will be on board with that. And then also the idea of Turner again being the sleuth that he is, that his father certainly taught him to be, is going back to the first crime that he sees reported in Bruce's book, which is in regards to the death of a grandfather or a great grandfather somewhere down the line named Alan Wayne, who apparently was killed by the Court of Owls, and wind up getting one of the Rowe siblings this week's episode, Cullen, is that his name, Cullen, to go ahead and break into the GCPD. I love the fact that Turner's running around with a group of little thieves that are extremely brilliant and can really kind of do whatever they certainly need to accomplish a mission. So it was pretty cool to kind of see Cullen Rowe, who, I haven't really been quite sure how to take him as of yet, as regards to a character goes. But I thought he did a pretty good job here in this particular episode. And look, I continue to appreciate him establishing the idea that he had a rough life. Clearly, him and his father did not get along. Harper, for the most part, probably for all his life, has been his support system, has always been there for him, sort of thing. So she definitely has a sense of overprotectiveness of him. And I think Cullen is very much getting into that place of finding himself, finding who he is, improving to not only himself but other people. That look, I can do this stuff on my own too, guys. You know what I'm saying? So I really I thought it was kind of funny, his storyline, in the sense of getting into the GCPD and coming back with the goods. So the fact of the Alan Wayne mystery really intrigues me, and I think learning more about the Court of Owls, just seeing overall just their connected tissue to Gotham City. Like, I thought it was pretty cool, the reveal at the end of this episode when Dula showcases that, hey, while we might have saved everybody, we kept the stash of jewelry that the mutant gang took from everybody. And as they're going through the jewelry, discovering the Court of Owl insignias and symbols on pieces of jewelry, other watches. And it's just something very haunting about that idea of knowing that these people were at the gala watching things transpire, probably knowing what's going on or what's supposed to happen every second of this particular moment in time, probably even watching Stephanie Brown and Brody and whoever else is certainly there as part of the gang. You know what I mean? So it's just fascinating to know that all these, in this group of rich people, you got that secret society that's kind of always watching at any particular moment in time. So I can see why Dula feels the way about the Court of Owls, and that fear that resonates with that name. I think they've done a really good job so far this season, really portraying that to the viewer, because that kind of haunted me a little bit. The idea that the Court of Owls were actually at the gala at the same time. So it just goes to show you how deep this storyline really runs. So yeah, I definitely will be coming back each and every week for it, to certainly say the least. Can I just say, the mayor in here is such a tool. Like, I had no sympathy for this dude at the end of the episode. Just a quick honorable mention: I had no sympathy for this dude towards the end of the episode. Him getting gassed in his own limo, just a little shit bag, man. I can't tell. I swear to God, it was just like, just the idea of not wanting to help people because of the fact that the person that's suggesting that you help people is the same person that might be your running mate, or not your running mate, but your opposition in the mayoral run, sort of thing. And then also knowing that he is part of the Court of Owls, or at least that they're currently watching him. Put him certainly in the position that he's in. So he's just a smug son of a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just can't stand people like that. I really can't. And so this guy's just a tool, and the fact that he's given all this pushback to Harvey Dent, who's just really trying to do his job, just a complete douchebag, honestly. So he got certainly what he deserved at the end of this particular episode. I also want to talk about the little scuffle that we wind up having between Harper Row and Stephanie. And can I just say, I think Stephanie is fine. I think Stephanie is gorgeous. Honestly, at the end of the day, I really love seeing her and Harper just go toe to toe. Like, for me, it was just really cool to see that, like, Harper Row. It's one of those things where like, it's just polar opposites, right? Like, they're both extremely brilliant and intelligent, and all from their own different backgrounds, right? Like, one clearly like the preppy rich girl sort of thing, the other one like her street knowledge from the streets and having to take care of herself and wherever else her knowledge suddenly comes from. I don't know the backstory fully of Harper Row, sort of thing, but that's how they certainly present it. And when Harper Row and Stephanie get in each other's faces, it's very much the idea of, like, you trying to show me up because of the fact that you think you're better than me, sort of thing. Like, I definitely didn't take it that way in regards to what Stephanie did as far as her reactions of cutting the wire. I think it really just came down to the idea. It's like, we are literally out of time. We have to make a decision and just do something. And look, quickest thing to do was probably cut the wire at that time. It's probably not enough time for Harper to certainly open that up, sort of thing. But she clearly took that very offensively. And I think it was just simply Stephanie trying to make a split decision and save lives, hopefully, and not so much the idea of, oh, I'm going to do this just to make her look like an idiot. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really appreciate the way that Harper is approaching it. And I kind of hope that it's Harper that realizes that she's approaching it from a really dumb angle, and come at it differently. Again, not to say that Stephanie, you know, didn't judge her. I'm probably sure Stephanie certainly did, you know what I mean? But I don't think that was her reasoning for why she cut the wire. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how these two make amends, if they even do make amends, or if they're just always going to have sort of like that grudge. But begrudgingly certainly work alongside each other until they can kind of get the job done. So I am kind of curious if that's the route that they're certainly going to go. But it was just a great battle of the smarts, honestly. I was actually a big fan of seeing those two kind of dueling it certainly back and forth. Um, but yeah, man, I think for the most part, that was all of my thoughts in that regards. The Mutant Gang was pretty interesting. You know, the Mutant Gang, it looks like Robin kicked the ass of Vernon Wagner. I don't know if he's a DC Batman character or not. The name doesn't sound too familiar to me. The Mutant Gang, I don't know. You guys let me know if you are big Batman fans. If you read a lot of Batman comics, is there a Vernon Wagner and a Mutant Gang in the comics? I'm kind of curious if that's something they created for TV or they're actually adapting to the big screen. Um, yeah, man, I'm just going over my notes real quick just to see if I got everything. And I think I do. Oh, honorable mention going back to Harvey Dent. Brody's parents, Stephanie Brown's date to the founders gala in here, Brody March, his father, Lincoln March. I didn't catch the wife's name though. But she hinted at the idea of her and Dent having a past together. I'm really fascinated by that. Lincoln mentions the idea if he's ever met his wife before, and Harvey, perfect line, he's like, "Oh no, I don't think we've ever met." And he just shakes her hand, everything great, first time introduction sort of thing. And then when they're alone, it's a completely different story. So, did they go to high school together? Did they used to date? I mean, there definitely was some sexual tension there. So, I am kind of curious what that was certainly all about. Maybe Brody isn't even really Lincoln's dad. No, I'm just kidding there. I'm just bullshitting now. But yeah, man. Otherwise, other than that, I had a really good time with this episode. I thought they had some really great emotional moments, especially again for Carrie Kelly and Turner towards the end. You know, trying to relate to his father, Robin, really clearly wanting to make Bruce proud, right? Kind of feeling like it was her fault that all of this happened with the GCPD explosion. Like, first off, that blimp explosion should have got a lot more reaction and a lot more coverage than they did. I was like, "Oh shit, that's like the Hindenburg!" Like, and a huge blimp exploded over the city. And I was just expecting like mayhem and just riots to happen. And the next scene that they cut to is literally just like a news report. Like, "Oh, by the way," like, "Oh my god!" Like, so yeah, that was a little bit odd for me, honestly. At the end of the day, um, but yeah, just the idea of, you know, the explosion happening, Carrie really blaming herself for everything that was certainly happening because she wind up taking down Vernon Wagner, the leader of the Mutant Gang. So it was definitely one of those things. Like, you can clearly see that she wishes that she could make Batman proud, and then when things kind of backfire, she clearly becomes a little bit too hard on herself, if you will. But those are definitely emotions that she certainly had to get through towards the end, and so that's a bond between her and Turner that I'm really looking forward to. So overall, guys, another solid and enjoyable episode here this week. But listen, I want to know what you guys think. Am I tripping? Am I the only one enjoying this show to a certain extent? Definitely go ahead and let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section box below. Again, at the end of the day, it's just my A+ opinions. I always want to know yours, so let your thoughts be known in the comment section box below. And look, we'll continue this discussion until next week's episode. And as always, guys, remember, Gotham Knights spoiler reviews every Wednesday at 6 p.m. You can always count on us to go ahead and drop that for you. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and certainly do. We certainly would appreciate it. And hit that like button, man. We put a lot of work into these videos. So in the meantime, do me a big favor as always, guys. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.